Hello, welcome. It is me, Danielle Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. We are going to do July 2026 predictions and astrology. If you love astrology and you love tarot reading and you love predictions and you love to hear what's going on, you want to know all the tea, you are at the right place. July is one of the most dynamic months of 2026. Why? First of all, Mercury is retrograding in the sign Cancer. Cancer represents your security. Jupiter enters Leo. It's already happening in June, but we really feel it in July. Why? Because the sun will enter Leo. So the sun will be highlighting Jupiter. This is all huge, okay? Maybe this will be the luckiest time to celebrate. Leo is all about celebration. Your future is asking you for courage, but your past still has something to teach you because that Cancer energy. So anyway, let's get started. 3, 2, 1. I love you. Here are the dates for July. July 3rd, we have Mars entering Uranus. July 5th, we have Mars trining Pluto, and the sun will square Saturn on the 6th. July 7th, Neptune starts to retrograde. Dum, 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 dum. July 9th, Venus enters Virgo. Not Leo. If I have that on the timeline, that is a typo. Ignore that. So once Venus enters Virgo, it's going to conjunct the South Node in Virgo and will oppose the North Node in Pisces. On the 12th, the Sun will conjunct Mercury retrograding. That is called a cazimi. That is when we have clarity. On the 13th, Venus will square Uranus. We have a new moon in Cancer on the 14th. On the 17th, Uranus will officially trine Pluto. You'll feel that a little bit earlier, but I'll explain that. Jupiter is going to trine Neptune. It actually trines Neptune once it enters Leo. I'll explain what that energy is feeling like currently. Jupiter is also going to oppose Pluto. I talked about this before in previous videos. We'll discuss it all again. July 22nd, happy solar return to all of my Leos. And on the 23rd, Mercury stations direct. Summer gets a little bit better. On the 26th, the sun is going to oppose Pluto and Saturn station retrograde. Saturn starts to retrograde. That means the government is going to be acting different because Saturn represents all that governs. North Node enters Aquarius and the South Node enters Leo. I have videos on this already, but we'll explain it briefly here. The 27th of July, the sun will trine Neptune. And on the 29th, Venus will square Mars and the sun will conjunct Jupiter, and all this happening in one day. The full moon in Aquarius. All that happens on the 29th. June 29th was a big doozy. July 29th is a big doozy. Important dates for you to note. July 3rd, when Mars conjuncts Uranus. That's the beginning of July. Mercury, we have that cazimi. That is clarity, July 12th. The new moon in Cancer is July 14th. Jupiter opposing Pluto on the 20th of July. Mercury going direct, July 23rd. That's when you can start planning everything, driving, travel, all that should be cleared up a little bit. There's a post-shadow retrograde phase, but it gets better there. The North Node entering Aquarius and the South Node entering Leo, July 22nd. That's an important date. Sun conjunct Jupiter. That's going to be an important date. Again, July 29th. And the full moon in Aquarius, July 29th. If you guys are new here, hello. Welcome. Welcome to the party, okay? Before we even really get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Give me my flowers, you guys. This episode is all about loving astrology. This episode is all about, whatever, the predictions. I was going to say something else, but listen, I want you guys to share the love that I do. I do this for free. I love doing this for free. Give me my flowers while I'm alive. Don't forget to download this episode if you are listening to this on your favorite podcast app. It really helps and it shows me support. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on the go, your downloads make a huge difference. And sharing and liking and commenting, all the things that just goes in one ear out the other, I actually want you to do it this time, okay? And remember, I'm not just on YouTube. You can find me on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, X, Facebook. I'm on Instagram and TikTok, but I'm not on there doing this live, but you can follow me there too. I have a private community, and here I'm doing the July predictions. On there, I actually give dates, like what's a great date to go on a date, to find love, to have a party, dates that we really care about. All that is in my private communities. It's the price of a cup of coffee. Very affordable. Also, you can ask me any questions about your personal chart. So we have that. So let's get started for the predictions of July. I'm going to break it down in weeks, okay? And then weekly, every Monday, you can tune in and I really get detailed with predictions of astrology weekly. So we're going to start with July 1st and the 6th. I am filming this July 1st. I'm not actually doing this live. This is something that we already discussed, me and you, if you're oldie. Okay. But if you're new here, we're going to revisit it. Okay. The theme of this week is the Great Awakening. Mars is conjunct Uranus. Things are moving pretty fast. Mars is sextile Neptune at the same time. So not only are things moving fast, there's an opportunity to be creative, to use film, to use photography, to write poems and really achieve some things. Mars is also trining Pluto retrograding in Aquarius. It is doing a lot, Mars. I said this in my last video that Mars is the busiest ever this week. So you can think of this week as really having a lot of action and a lot of drive. But while it's sitting next to Uranus, there is this awakening. There's this intelligence. There's this not intensity, but this urge to really move fast and do things that's very different and out of the box. The sun also this week is going to square Saturn. So this is an energy of really feeling like you have limitations and being pessimistic, okay? We do have July 4th this week, so we'll talk about that. I had talked about that in a video, my last video, so go ahead and check that out for July 4th. But this week, we'll start the fireworks, right? Mars and Uranus can bring unexpected announcements, technology breakthroughs, shocking news, viral moments, and sudden changes of plans. You have to be flexible. Gemini rules communication, transportation, media, AI, education, and the internet, your community, your siblings, okay? So a lot of surprises even with friendships, so be aware of that. Don't be surprised if one headline changes to a conversation overnight or a text messages seems very weird and odd, okay? Fortunately, Mars immediately makes supportive aspects with Neptune and with Pluto. So instead of like the chaos being very destructive or the shock really being out of the box, this is a great time for compassion, love, really releasing the boundaries, even though the sun is squaring to Saturn, but releasing the boundaries when you're trying to achieve something, okay? There could be some AI announcements, technology, anything that you're using tech-wise, there could be some advancements on that. So watch out for that, but we still have glitches because Mercury is retrograding, okay, in Cancer. But community technology could involve anything dealing with social media. Sudden transportation or airline news, viral moments reshape public conversations, unexpected resonations of a leader or changes or cybersecurity being an issue. But this is a great time to launch that new idea, a great time for writing, networking, podcasting, learning, taking calculated risk. This is great for that. The sun squaring Saturn, the sun sitting in the sign Cancer and Saturn sitting in Aries is going to remind us to have patience, and it's going to make things very negative, okay? Depending on where that sun is, it could be negative with you, your physical body, and really not seeing the positive of things. Saturn could be very, the father figure being negative, or even the mother figure who is very much the mentor being very negative. Don't sweat it, okay? Take the lesson, take heed, and just worry about the motivation, because Mars is pretty much doing some great things, okay? So use your action and your drive, focus on that. Don't worry about the limitation. The advice I have for this, the first week of July is don't confuse urgency with importance. Some opportunities deserve immediate action and others deserve another night's sleep. Oh, also a great time to work out and try a different workout too. That's great too. Let's move on to week 2, July 7th to the 13th. The theme of this week is the turning point, right? The major transits we have for the second week of July is Neptune starts to retrograde. Venus enters Virgo. Mercury is going to have a cazimi in the sign Cancer, and Venus is going to square Uranus. Okay. Now I want to explain Neptune, okay? Neptune retrograding in the sign Aries. Whenever Neptune retrogrades, the secrets stop being secret, okay? Things start to reveal themselves. While Neptune is direct, we're often dreaming, imagining, envisioning what's the possible. A lot of escapism and illusions. Well, when it starts to retrograde, meaning it starts to not really work its best, the illusions start to lift. The veil lifts. No one's using a rose-colored lens anymore. Everyone can see clearly. There is no blurriness. I kind of like that You know, I have fire signs, so I love when things are very direct. Neptune is the source of trouble when you're indicating escapism and dreams. Even Hollywood could be a form of escapism and illusion. Those things starts to be lifted, okay? And Neptune makes everything really real. So get ready for that. Neptune, the planet, is all about spirituality, faith, intuition, dreams, imagination, compassion, creativity. And those things start to either be more focused internally, or there's a redoing of that, revisiting your spirituality, revisiting your faith, revisiting healing. Neptune also is the planet of ending. Okay, so let's redo something that was supposed to be healed or something that was supposed to end. Again, sacrifice, escapism, and mysticism is all about Neptune. And when you have it retrograding, you're redoing, repeating, reassessing all of those themes. Okay, and Neptune dissolves the boundaries, and now the boundaries are going to be up. So be aware of that as well. Aries, and when you have Neptune in the sign Aries, is dealing with your identity, yourself, something new, something first. I always say Neptune in Aries is the Ozempic, because Neptune represents the drugs and the medication, and Aries represents the physical body. And also there is an illusion of the physical body. And I'm not saying this is with all people who are on Ozempic. I'm just using it as an example that there could be some repeating or redoing with that, okay? Aries also represents leadership, courage, independence, initiation, competitive, self-confidence, and the pioneer. It's all about who am I? And Neptune will ask, is the identity authentic? Are you really being real with your true self, or when you're moving fast? So that is what we have. A lot of political leaders, a lot of CEOs, a lot of influencers, a lot of public figures, a lot of institutions. Let's see what the illusions, Neptune is also those conspiracy theories. So let's see how that plays out with everything. And yeah, we'll continue this discussion as Neptune retrogrades keeps going in the sign Aries. We also have Mercury in a Cazimi in the sign Cancer. This is like things coming in a dream. This is something that maybe your mom is going to tell you, or there is clarity when it comes to your security, your past. Mercury restores mental clarity. Neptune going direct, many people will look back and realize they weren't losing themselves. They were uncovering who they were all along. And Venus entering Virgo this week asks us to become more intentional when it comes to love or money, being more practical, really going down to the bare minimum when it comes to beauty, and really focusing on health and our daily routines, and being of service of others and loving someone who is giving service to others. But Venus will be squaring Uranus. So get ready. This could be a lot of surprises when it comes to our health, when it comes to a loved one with help in relationships, when it comes to our finances, like a surprise at a gym, or a surprise with your daily routine. Venus in Virgo is like the party, and you're at a fitness party and you're having the greatest time, but then something weird happens, and it's not a good weird. So be aware that developments or unexpected spending can happen too when you are not being practical. All right. Truths begin to surface this week. Relationship changes unexpectedly. The markets could be very volatile because Gemini, Uranus, Venus is all about the money. Fashion and wellness trends start to shift because we have Venus leaving one sign and going into Virgo. More conversations around healthcare and practical living. On a personal level, people could be really having fun organizing their life, reviewing your finances, improving your daily habits, healing some relationships, not just a loved one, but some female relationship as well, and receiving some important moves. The advice for the second week of July is when clarity comes, it's time to believe it. Let's talk about the third week of July. That is July 14th to the 20th. This is all about the big dream, okay? And dreaming big. We have the new moon in Cancer. Uranus is sextile Neptune. This is also involving some dreams and opportunity. Uranus is going to officially trine Pluto. Mars is sextile Saturn. Jupiter is trine Neptune. And Jupiter is opposing Pluto. A lot of these things we are already feeling throughout July, okay? The newest thing I will say this week is really that new moon in Cancer. So be aware of that. Now, I want you to understand, without complicating astrology, there are two patterns happening in the sky. There is a minor grand trine. This is a talent triangle. Neptune sextile Uranus, and then Neptune sextile Pluto, and then Pluto trining Uranus. It makes that minor Jupiter grand trine. Great time for positivity and really having the opportunity to show compassion and get therapy. Maybe even show compassion and get therapy online, because that Pluto in Aquarius will make it happen online. But a lot of compassion, a lot of charity, a lot of creativity, and maybe being really creative when it comes to technology as well, or any type of form of communication. It's really positive this week. We also have a wedge trine, and that's when things are really focused. And Jupiter is opposing Pluto. Jupiter is also trine Neptune, and then Neptune is sextat Pluto. Both of these things are happening at the same time. And think about, there's opportunity here, but then there's an opposition happening. So Neptune and Pluto is going to create the tension. And Jupiter in Leo, it's all about the leadership. It's all about the self-expression. And Pluto in Aquarius is all about fighting for the people. So let's see how the individual is versus the collective. That's going to show up, but there's going to be a lot of opportunity for compassion and charity and sacrificing as well. Jupiter in Leo is going to expand leadership, creativity, fame, confidence, entrepreneurship, entertainment, personal power. And again, that Aquarius is all about the people, technology, AI, the sky, literally the birds in the airplane, and communities, institutions, collective power. And it's going to be a lot of celebrity versus the community, human creativity versus AI, personal leadership versus the collective systems, and individual freedom versus social responsibility. All right. Now we do have the bridge happening with these patterns in the sky, and that's Neptune in Aries. It's going to provide a solution. I really think there's going to be a new way of having compassion, a new charity. Neptune says, lead with purpose, act with from inspiration, have faith, build a new vision, and act out of love and not fear, because sometimes the unknown is all about fear. Anyway, so let's see how this plays out for the week. I think Neptune in Aries is going to bring a lot of things happening: imagination, compassion, vision, creativity, spiritual purpose. All that is going to be affected this week. At the same time, there's going to be a huge seesaw happening between Jupiter and Pluto, and the planet of abundance and love and expansion from the planet of intensity and jealousy and power. We'll see how that plays out this week. Now, also this week, we have a new moon. It's going to actually happen July 14th. It's going to happen at 21 degrees. It's going to conjunct Mercury retrograding in Cancer. So this is someone rewriting the story, re-saying something. New moons are new starts, the planting for the future. Cancer likes to look backwards, but the new moon wants to set the new tone. With Mercury retrograding sitting right next to the new moon, the universe isn't encouraging impulse new beginnings. Instead, it's asking you to reflect. It's asking you to revise, reconnect, heal, so the next chapter could be better. Okay, so this is not about just starting something new, even though the new moon normally means that. With Cancer and dealing with Cancer is always dealing with the past, and it's retrograding, so there's something that's going to be repurposed. Okay, new moons are about fresh starts, new beginnings, manifestations, setting intentions, new opportunities, a new emotional cycle, a great time to plant the seeds. Cancer themes are all about the home, security, emotional security, and physical security, childhood memories, ancestry, nurturing, motherhood, healing, intuition, your private life, your physical home, and feeling safe. Okay, so all these things are going to be redone. Be said. Mercury also wants to talk about it and discuss it and break it down. Okay, it's happening at 21 degrees. That's the Sagittarius degree. So that could be something dealing with your philosophy, religion, higher learning, and also the internet, the World Wide Web, or even travel, being very worldly. All that is going to be connected to this new moon in Cancer. If we're talking about the individual, it could be someone who's redoing something and reflecting on something and starting something new. At the same time, it's like you learn it on the internet, okay? Or you learn it from someone from a different country. Now, if this was the collective, there is a new start happening to a certain homeland, okay? Could be America, because America is a Cancer sign. And there's something that's happening worldly. It's not just happening within your home. It's a global situation, okay? A Mercury conjunct the new moon is about communication, thoughts, learning, contracts, socializing, conversations, and discussions, which is also conversations. So it could be something revisiting something. We will discuss it as we continue on our weekly video. but that's what we have for the new moon in Cancer so far. Jupiter starts making major aspects this week. Jupiter is going to trine Neptune, one of the most hopeful transits of the year. A lot of faith starts to increase. Creativity is expanded. Dreams feel possible again. This is really great for the charities. This is really great if you want to sacrifice and be service of others. Jupiter is also opposing Pluto at the same time. So how will you use your influence? Pluto is very powerful. It's very intense. So these aspects are added to it, and there's an opposition to it. Wisdom without action becomes wasted potential. Power without wisdom becomes ego. So let's see how that plays out for the week. But I do think there will be some huge announcements going on, major leadership stories, political power struggles, issues with the financial market, like with the stocks, breakthroughs in science and medicine, and inspiring humanitarian movements happening that week. The advice for the week is expand your vision, not your pride. And then lastly, for week 4, July 21st to the 31st, the major theme of this week is a new era begins. Okay, Mercury goes direct. We can really start planning our summer the way we want to. Sun enters Leo, and now it's all about having fun and truly expressing yourself. The North Node and the South Node changes. The North Node enters Aquarius. This is power to the people, are really being focused on the sky and the airlines and intellectual energy. And the South Node releasing, being all about the entertainers. So let's see how the celebrities start to act at the end of July. Saturn stations retrograde. Now the boundaries really start to be broken down and released, and issues with the government start to happen. And Venus will square Mars. Venus squaring Mars is a lot of issues with women and men. It's a lot of issues with having some fun and you not wanting to have fun. It's almost like there's anger and fun is not being happy. There could be a lot of people in relationships having fights, financial disagreements, because we are dealing with Mercury and Virgo. A lot of debates over what is practical, what is tangible, what is real, education and communication. Increase attention on beauty, fashion, and wellness. Mars squaring Venus is messing up the funds and the finances, but a lot of huge problems with relationships as well. And when I say that, there's issues with love and anger, issues around selfish gratification, a lot of emotional discord, and things are very rough and harsh, and there's no disharmony. The sun is going to conjunct Jupiter this week. This is beautiful. This is great. This is have fun outside. So if you decide to do something very physical that involves confidence, leadership, this is a great week to do it. Very creative energy. It's all about the spotlight and it's on you. The sun symbolizes your identity and confidence and purpose, and it is the ruler of Leo. So it's very strong energy. There's a lot of growth, luck, and abundance when it comes to your confidence, when it comes to everyone looking at you, when it comes to creativity. Even this is a great sign of fertility coming your way. And fertility, not just having literal babies, but also fertility of an idea or a business or a thought. But there's optimism, visibility, creativity, leadership, joy, and recognition. Let's see what happens to the leaders of the world. But individually, it's great leadership for you. And on July 29th, we have an Aquarius full moon. It's at 6 degrees. That is a Virgo degree. That is diminishing and cleaning up or being very detailed or critical about something. Aquarius is all about the future. And so there could be we also have the North Node in Aquarius as well. So things that are supposed to be meant for our future. At the same time, there is a highlight of the future. How do we balance individual success with the needs of the collective? Every time we have a full moon, it's all about a culmination. It's a zenith. It's a completion. It's a revelation. There is something that needs to be released and you need to forgive. Aquarius, again, is all about the people and the future and the AI. And it's going to be dealing with something that deals with either your health, an organization, daily habits, systems, being efficient, service, and practical problem solving. What makes this full moon really important is that Pluto is involved and it's sitting next to Pluto. This is huge transformation. There's a huge deal with power, intensity, truth, hidden information, endings, psychological breakthroughs, and collective evolution. There could be a huge protest happening this day, or something really huge happening with AI, or social media, or scientific breakthroughs. It's also going to have an opposition to Jupiter in Leo. So a lot of ego clashes. This is huge with the people against the leader, or something very polarizing, or something that is very overconfident. That is the energy of that. But what is positive with this new moon is that it's going to trine Uranus and Gemini. So any form of communication, writing it down, talking about it, education, social media, transportation, learning, that's very positive with this full moon. And the ruler of this full moon in Aquarius is going to be Saturn. It's in the sign Aries. Aries is like to do something new and first, and also deals with a leader and war. Saturn is also squaring Mercury in Cancer. This is getting a little detailed for this full moon, but I want you to know that the Mercury squaring Saturn is misunderstanding of things and things being said that is wrong. Communication is a problem. Like there could be difficult conversations. Even though Aquarius loves to converse, the ruler of Aquarius is not happy to converse. So let's see how that plays out. But the bigger story is that Mercury is going to station direct. The North Node will enter Aquarius. Saturn is going to station retrograde, and the Sun is conjunct Jupiter. And the advice of the week is stop waiting for permission. This is your invitation to become the person you've been preparing to be, and be careful with words and communication the last week of July. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Actually, I want to pull some cards here. We're going to pull cards for the month of July. So the month of July, it's all about being practical and compassionate with your finances. We have the Queen of Pentacles. This is very earth energy, very Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. This is all about nurturing, at the same time being healthy and moving slow, not moving fast. It's also very generous. It's very sensible. It does love the luxuries of life. At the same time, it's charitable with the luxuries, okay? It's very caring, could be a homebody, a good sense of business sense, and really loves to work and work hard. But working hard for others, not just working hard for the self. So we have that going on. We also have the Ten of Cups. A lot of blessings when it comes to family this month in July. We have the Two of Pentacles, juggling a lot, multitasking, a lot of choices, a lot of decisions, a lot about weighing your options and multiple opportunities and priorities. It's a great time to find balance, though. It's going to be a great time to maybe have dual incomes or finding two incomes. But a lot of juggling here, especially when it comes to work and working out, or the home, and tangible items, earthly items. Okay. And then lastly, for the month of July, we have the Seven of Cups. Here we are again with a lot of options, but sometimes the options are too many and can make you very cloudy. But this is a lot of choices, clouded judgment, many opportunities. There's illusions here. There's illusion opportunities with many options, wishful thinking, searching for a purpose, and indecision and disarray. This is funny because this is Venus and Scorpio. And it makes me think that there is a love situation or things that you're attracting that could be a little bit taboo. So be aware of that for the month of July. So things that are happening that you need to remember is that Neptune is going to retrograde. The secrets will be revealed. Mercury is retrograding in the sign Cancer. A lot of repeating of things from your past, insecurity, and maybe even having an argument with your mother. Okay. Jupiter in Leo is going to inspire a lot of people. There is this intensity added with it with Pluto and its opposition from the leader or the self versus the collective. So be ready for that. The North Node is going to change and the South Node is going to change. People are going to be focused about the people, and a lot of focus on AI and technology and social media. Leo season is here. It's here to remind us about our confidence and being outside and enjoying summer if you live on this side of the globe, and also really praising that father figure and really having that self-expression and just have fun. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed our July's video. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye bye.